Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. My name is Ken Shreve, joined today by our news editor, Ed Carson. And well, after 9 straight gains for the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we were waiting for a market pullback, and we got one today. It was a bit on the violent side, but we'll touch base with Ed Carson and get his take on what happened today. But Ed, as always, has got 3 stocks to watch.
Yeah, and the stocks look a little different than when I was first suggesting we look at them. Google, Old Dominion, and MongoDB.
Okay, 3 interesting stocks there, and all right. Well, let's start by taking a look at the Nasdaq again. 9 straight up sessions for the Nasdaq. Maybe getting some early resistance here at the 15,000 level. Just want to look at a 5-minute intraday chart here of the Nasdaq, and Ed, what you can just tell us when the selling really picked up the pace here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we peaked somewhere in the early mid-afternoon, but then once we got underneath sort of the mid-morning lows, then things really seemed to cascade off. Didn't seem to be any real catalyst, but as you're saying, we were getting up there. We're over 15,000. Intraday, the Nasdaq was above more than 8.5% or more above the 50-day line, and it was just starting to look stretched. We had run up a lot since Thanksgiving. There had been that pause, nice run, and now maybe we're going to see some kind of pullback. Maybe this is just a one-off. Maybe it's a mild pause from this level, but you know, it was unexpected, but it wasn't a surprise. Let's put it that way. Or maybe it was a surprise, but it wasn't unexpected. I'm not sure which one it was, but.
It looks like we're going to get higher volume, so it's going to be a rare distribution day. We really haven't seen much of them since the uptrend was confirmed in early November. But again, Nasdaq getting turned away at the 15,000 level. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 here. That also took a pretty good hit, down 1.5%. Volume is showing lighter, but I think volume is going to end up being heavier on the NYSE as well.
And I think just investors want to, they can still be pretty heavily, exposed, but they might want to think about taking some profits. And, that was something you could have done on the way up, and it depends on your style and all that. But if you don't take profits on the way up, you're going to take them on the way down. You can't have a strategy saying, I'm going to sell at the absolute top. That's just, somebody gets that, but you're not going to be the one doing that. So you have to have a strategy. How am I going to play this? How do I protect my portfolio? Again, this might just bounce right back, but you just have to be thinking about these things. Where do I want to take an exit strategy for individual stocks in my portfolio?
Yeah, no doubt. And even with the sharp declines today, Dow Jones, or excuse me, the S&P 500 that we're looking at here, still holding above its 10-day moving average, which is a very short-term support level. All right, let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It was up 9 sessions in a row. Outside day pulls back, and Dow ended down 1.3%. And let's take a look at the Russell 2002, because that was outperforming at one point today, but pretty violent drop here as well, Ed.
Yeah, and the Russell is prone to do that. Has the big moves, and also I would say that leading stocks, some growth names, especially the more speculative ones. Seeing 3-4% drops or percentage drops from the intraday highs was not at all unusual today. So that's just something to remember, that when things get extended and your stocks have been rocking, it's like, well, those stocks could take pretty big drawdowns. It's just something to keep in mind. It doesn't mean that you have to make radical changes, but yeah, these things happen. It's fun on the way up, but it's not so much fun on the way down.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, bond yields under pressure again today. It's been a precipitous drop for the 10-year treasury yield below the 200-day moving average. But yeah, bond yields under more pressure today.
Yeah, lowest since late July. That didn't seem to really have any impact on the market. It didn't seem to really follow the stocks. I don't think it moved a whole lot. The stocks decided we're falling, and it really didn't have much to do with the bond market today.
Yeah. All right, well, let's take a look at some individual stocks. Alphabet actually served up a nice breakout early in the session. A lot of stocks have already broken out, but let's take a look at GOOGL. And this stock looked good as it crossed the 140 level, but looks like weakness in the broad market kind of pulled this down.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. This one was clearly breaking out. There was really strong volume, looked good. There's been some positive volume in the last couple of weeks. So strong week so far. It just the market came down. The market came down like this, and so this one still might end up working. I wouldn't, if the market bounced back, wouldn't be surprised to see this come up. Google had some positive news. There's a report that it may reorganize its ad sales team. Basically, maybe they'll be able to cut lots of jobs because they'll rely more on machine learning and automation to run ads or pick ads for folks. So the idea is that maybe Google could be more efficient and honestly save a lot of money on labor by doing that. And that's what fueled the early gains.
Out of the Magnificent Seven stocks, Alphabet was the only one that traded higher today. So all the rest of the Magnificent Seven all dragged lower with the broad market here. All right, I know you and Justin talked about a trucking stock in yesterday's Stock Market Today video. We're going to stay in the transportation sector and look at another trucking stock here, Old Dominion. That is ODFL.
Yeah, this one was looking nice at the beginning because it was sort of breaking a trend line. It was decisively clearing the 50-day line. So you could certainly imagine this one, this was actionable, it seemed like there. As I said, Justin Nielsen and I talked about SIA. That held up a little better. Again, Old Dominion might work, but it came a couple percentage points off of its intraday highs. I mean, that's sort of what the market did. It didn't do anything particularly wrong. As you can see, the RS line had a strong day today. I mean, it's been struggling, but today it had a positive session. So did Google. Anything that was up is seeing a nice RS bump today, but just disappointing for the stock given what happened with the market.
All right, and then in the, I think this is database software. I was almost going to say enterprise software, but take a look at MongoDB. DB stands for database, so this is a database software firm, and stock kind of holding support here near the 400 level. What do you like here, Ed?
Well, I obviously had a really ugly sell-off on earnings, sort of broke through. I suppose you could still call that 412 buy point actionable, but I sort of see, because the earnings were great, but apparently the guidance wasn't strong enough, even though it was raised guidance. But that can happen. You could still use that buy point, I suppose, but you could also see a downward sloping trend line from the past few weeks or the high from last week, because it seems to be finding support, maybe tightening up, because you want to see that after that ugly action. It's like, okay, we're going to put that in the past. What are you doing now a little bit? Are you tightening up? It wouldn't be bad if this tightened up for a few weeks, found support around the 400 level, the 21-day line, 50-day line comes up, it forges a new base. But, if the market takes off again, this one might provide entries earlier than that.
Yeah, and really outstanding revenue growth here at MongoDB in recent quarters. You've got triple-digit earnings increases for at least 4 quarters here. So high-quality name in the database software group. All right, well, so Ed, why don't we just wrap up? And again, for growth investors that are still holding growth stocks, maybe people that made a good amount of money in November when the market first started to rally, what's the best game plan right now? We got a pretty sharp down session today. Maybe the market's ready to consolidate and take a little breather here, but again, just what do growth investors do with current holdings?
Just remember, you can't get every bit. You can't get every bit of it. It's okay to take some profits. So take some gains. And if you haven't taken some on the way up, you may want to take some now on the way down a little bit. Not saying panic and sell everything, just a little bit, so it's a little more pressure. We might also go to Micron. If we go to MU for just briefly?
Absolutely.
They reported that's a big earnings report. Now, initially they had strong earnings and guidance. Now this is all, it came down. It's bouncing after hours. It's also important, and I don't know what's all come out yet, because what they say about guidance and capital spending will also be really important for a lot of chip gear makers. So this report is important. Now this one isn't a turnaround thing. The numbers have been really poor, but the stock has been rebounding on expectations that better times are to come. So this is a report to watch overnight and as we open up tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Well, stock up solidly 4.5% in aftermarket or extended trading. You mentioned this could move a lot of these chip equipment stocks that Micron does a lot of business with. So maybe some good news in the technology sector tomorrow morning. We'll have to see. All right, Ed. Well, appreciate your insight as usual. That'll do it for today. Some pretty sharp sell-off today, but again, first down day in 10 sessions for the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So a little bit of a pause here. We're still in a confirmed uptrend, and I think we still need to respect the uptrend, but pay attention to distribution days. It looks like we're probably going to get a distribution day or a higher volume decline for the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 today. But again, distribution days have really been light since this uptrend was confirmed in early November. So the folks on IBD Live this morning, people saying, why are all the panelists so negative? We weren't negative. We were talking about the market is getting very extended. There's a lot of extended stocks out there. We were trimming some gainers. So anyway, so we'll be back on IBD Live tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Time. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, check out IBD Live at investors.com. That'll do it for today. I'll be back here tomorrow with Alexis. Until then, have a great afternoon, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.